Hello everyone and welcome to this week's tutorial. This one is going to be a little bit different, but sometimes on this channel I have to make things that I'm more passionate about than just scripting extensions and plugins. This can relate into the field of programming as well as what we do on this channel, but I have to confess, I think I'm addicted to AI image generation. So today I'm going to be mostly discussing Midjourney. I may discuss DALL-E a little bit, which I was just accepted into the beta, but Midjourney is now publicly accessible, and you can even create a paid account to generate as many images as you want. Today I want to discuss the implications of AI creating this kind of art, the mixture of all of its compiled images to create all of this, and what that may mean for copyright and/or ethics, and overall just how amazing this technology is to provide certain prompts and get amazing imagery out the other side. Before we get started with this video, I do want to remind you down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly in the channel, and down in the description you can follow us on GitHub for coding updates, as well as Instagram for other live updates. If you're not already a member of our Discord server, make sure you come and join to get help with scripting, extensions, plugins, submit tutorial ideas, and much more. And if you'd like to help support us on YouTube, you can do so down in the description by becoming a member, supporter, premium supporter, or VIP. That comes with cool perks like membership status on Discord, weekly member polls, and weekly member live streams. And also check out the links down below to AE Scripts, Gumroad, and Adobe Exchange to see some other cool stuff I make. Alright, so at the most basic level, the technology behind AI image generation has come a long way in the past 4 years. A couple years ago, you could kind of type in random prompts and get interesting images out, but oftentimes it would be quite disturbing in some cases. But basically, the way these generally work, there are some proprietary ways that are not always shared, but the way most of these image generation tools work is they are given a huge data set up front, probably sourced from the internet with a heavy amount of picky filtering to avoid things like sexual content, gore, violence, and things like that, because the AI will learn whatever you give it. But basically, what it allows you to do is give it a text prompt. It's a combination of a text prompt AI, so to speak, and an image generating one, and it allows you to basically type in as simple or as detailed as you want of a description to get various types of images. Some of you may know about OpenAI's DALL-E, which is kind of the first publicly visible one that a lot of people knew about. I just got accepted into its beta, and I can say that I enjoy it. It's fun to mess around with, but it's not the same as Midjourney to me. What DALL-E is lacking, at least in this free version I have, or the current version that I can now test, is it's similar in that it produces four random images based on your prompt. In this case, a volcano exploding over Pompeii with lightning and the thick plumes of smoke. It does a pretty good job and it looks nice and painterly. I can add some things like can of soda with water droplets, Unreal Engine ultra quality, and this will give it a kind of rendered, or in a lot of cases, a more realistic look. So you can still get more realistic looks and stuff by getting more detailed in DALL-E. But one thing you can't do that you could correct me on, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe there are like tags or flags. In Midjourney, we can tell it, set it to this specific quality, set it to this aspect ratio, give it this depth of field, and a whole bunch of other options. I haven't seen that in DALL-E, and again, I could be wrong. We have an edit option here. So you can modify areas in this, which is cool, and then insert other images. That's probably the main thing about this that is better than the others, is that you can actually cut out things and add more imagery into there, generate more image, kind of like a content aware fill. Um, but one thing about Midjourney, which is the main thing about this tutorial, is that it allows you to have these flags that allow you to be more detailed, less detailed, as well as it allows you to upscale and more easily do things with all of your variations. So this is nice just to quickly generate ideas and get some ideas of things, but it's not always going to give you the same customizability so far that I've seen with Midjourney. So Midjourney, how does it work? Well, first, of course, you have to sign up. It's free. If you want, you can have a paid account, which gives you more basically GPU processing hours. And once you sign up on midjourney.com, You basically just go into the Discord server they invite you to, and this is where you as a basic member will do all your conversions. You'll go into one of these newbie rooms, and this is where you can kind of learn and explore and see what other people are doing. And what you do is you type in a certain command, and then that command will allow you to type in your prompt. So because I have already kind of gone ham and created my own account here, what I can do is now personally message the bot. Now you'll see here, we have a thing that says banned word. That is very important to realize, is that with these kind of AIs, they are sourcing a ton, millions plus of elements and images to learn from. A lot of stuff online is violent, sexual, gory, so there are a lot of terms that are banned and you're not allowed to use. Things even like a tick or certain types of bugs that may be used to mix with gore to create disgusting combinations, they're banned. So as you can see here, if you type in certain words, things aren't going to work, which is totally fine. There are still so many things we can do without being nefarious in what we're doing. So to get an image out of Midjourney, whether it's the bot or in the server, you simply type in slash, which is standard for a Discord command, and we want to say imagine. We're going to imagine something. So we're going to hit enter, and it's going to give us our prompt. What is our prompt going to be? Let's say a guy recording YouTube. You should probably capitalize it. It does care if you capitalize names, for example. If you lowercase them, it usually just generates someone random. A guy recording YouTube videos with a bright ring light from above. Super simple prompt here. And now it's going to start beginning generating the image. You'll see it live update at certain percentages, and this will depend based on your speed, if you have a fast or slow setup in your account. Now, sometimes the prompts you give it aren't going to generate exactly what you want. And this is one of kind of the tricks about these AIs is, yes, they might be removing a lot of jobs of artists who can create stuff, especially things like style transfers and paintings and stuff. But another job altogether is if you're able to properly describe what you want to generate from an AI. That's a job all in itself. And if you actually go to the community feed once you sign up for Midjourney, you can see some of the top and hottest images, and you can actually see exactly what they type in. Sometimes people give these incredibly long, detailed descriptions. Perspective, curious old sweet secret town of the fairies, seascape, cascading cafe shops and candy houses, Victorian animation art, fantasy, translucent color wash, serene cinematic, smooth, detailed, soft palette, hyper-realism, very small aperture, clear reflection, post-production, post-processing, 8K retouch, HDR, super resolution, soft lighting, ray trace, global illumination, crystalline, lumen reflections. So you can get as detailed or as simple as you want. But that is the key. If you know how to describe what you see in your head or what you want to see, you can describe it in as much detail as you want with knowing how to describe the physical properties of camera lens apertures, of, physical phenomena like volumetric lights and things like that, or different camera styles. You can get this all to appear if you just know the right things to say. And obviously, sometimes it's something silly and simple, which just works too, like Wolverine Jackman as Danny DeVito. Now you can see this is in brackets, and there is actually a huge amount of documentation available, which has a ton of tags, a few of which I'll go over today. But if you want to see all of them, all you have to do is type in /help, and then we can go down to the basic commands user manual. And this will give us a full list of all of the things we can do in terms of quality, prompts, different types of weighting. We can even use existing image links online to get style transfers. So as you can see, a guy recording YouTube with a ring light above him just gives us kind of a ring light. Let's do something a little more artistic, so to speak. We'll do an example of something super simple and then one of these super long, detailed, complicated descriptions. And the cool thing is we can run multiple jobs at the same time, which allows us to, just generate a whole bunch of stuff. So let's go ahead and think about this for a sec, something really creative. All right, let's just try large chrome planet with ring system and mini moons. And then we want like in front of a dense star field. So if you're passionate about something, you really know like some terms, some technical terms that you think will get you the results you want, you can try those as well. But let's do something super long and descriptive. Let's do a cat walking alongside a thin balcony on the upper levels of the city. Rainy scene. And now we can kind of do all the fun stuff. We can say like Unreal Engine, ultra quality, realistic, realistic, um, glowing maybe. We could even try like lens smudges. And now while that's loading, we can look at this. So we now have our large chrome plan of the ring system and mini moons in front of a dense star field. These are very different results, but I like this one a lot. So I can then choose. Here we have basically, for reference, we have image 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the choice to either make a up-res version, a higher quality version of one of them, or a variation based on it. So I like number 2. Let's make a higher quality version. That's going to start a new job. Now, this is, as you can see, this is already coming together. We're at 66% of our cat walking alongside a thin balcony on the upper levels of the city, rainy scene, unreal, blah, blah, blah. And then we're also going to have this upscaled, which is nice. The original initial prompt you give it is going to load quite fast and generate, but the higher quality or the more you up-res it will be a bit slower. So here's our cat on a balcony in the rainy city. Looks pretty nice. I like this one the best. You're going to notice, obviously, because this is an AI, things aren't going to always be completely accurate looking. If you have crowd scenes and things like that, people may just be kind of abstract looking figures. But the way it works, it's almost like it understands our perception of what things are supposed to be or implied. So a lot of times you will notice things that it kind of just does on its own. So I like number 2 here. We can up-res it. Let's make a variation of it as well. And we'll have several jobs going at the same time. And anytime basically the job finishes, you'll have all these options. Now instead of up-resing and versions, we have variations, upscale to max. We can add like a rating and stuff, which will all be synced to your actual Midjourney account where it shows all of your stuff. So in this case, if I like this one, I can continue to upscale it to the max, and then once I have it upscaled to the max, I can save that. And the max resolution, it looks to be 1664 by 1664. No problem with that. Here's our variation of our cat scene. This one looks actually pretty good here. It's not quite rainy enough though. And we're gonna finish upscaling that one. Now let's go ahead and upscale this one to max. And while we're waiting, let's try a super long prompt as a lot of these other people are trying. We can try and think of something and be as detailed as possible. Okay, let's try something like a desert city being flooded. I know that sounds terrible, but I did some experiments with like cities being hit by earthquakes, and it seemed to do a really good job. So let's do a desert city being flooded during the night. Torches visible from afar. Moody lighting. Clear, clear sky with stars visible. Realistic. Hyper real. Unreal Engine. VFX simulation. 8K. And we can really just get as creative as we want. What else can we see? Um, what do we see in the scene? Or what kind of quality do we want to, we can say like, um, let's give it one more description. Glowing lights, I guess. Now, while this is loading, I want to discuss with you a few of the most useful flags that I've come across. Obviously, in the documentation I referenced, there's a ton more, but the first one, let's just go ahead and type in like Bluegrass Unreal Engine Ultra Quality. Now, if we just put that in, it's going to give us something. What we can do is give it, we can give it sort of tags or flags. These are things that will change the settings. So we have our original prompt here, which we'll have displayed in a second. The first tag I want to talk about is the stop. We'll say hyphen hyphen for any of the tags. We can say stop. This is going to be an f-stop anywhere between 10 and 100. What I found is anything above 85 is pretty much clear, and anything below 85 starts to get really blurry. The higher the value of your stop, the more clear it's going to be. The lower the value, the less depth of field. So we can go ahead and say like 65. And another thing I want to do is AR. That stands for aspect ratio. We can give AR then space. If I want to make a really weird aspect ratio, like 32 by 3, we can do that. I believe it's within the range. And now we go ahead and wait for that. And as those are loading, we can go back and look at our other stuff. We now have this maxed resolution, so I can save this wherever I want for later use. Same with our cat, which looks great. And here is our super other detailed description, which kind of looks accurate. We have a desert city being flooded during the night, torches visible from afar, moody lighting, clear sky with stars visible, realistic, hyper-real, blah, blah, blah. To me, 1 and 2 look the best. My computer's a bit low on storage space, so we're going to clear some cache. And taking a look here at our standard Bluegrass Unreal Engine Ultra Quality, this is what it looks like. It looks like some grass with some blue tinting. But what happens when we add those other arguments? You can see we have our aspect ratio of 32 by 3, which is a nice like landscape type of thing. And in this case, the stop 65, you can see it. There's not a lot of focus. It's very shallow depth of field. The blue part doesn't seem to be coming through here. Maybe it understands that I believe bluegrass might be an actual type of grass, and that's what it's showing. So that's something interesting to consider. And as you can see, as we upres our desert image, this looks worthy of my desktop background. And my desktop background now is already something I generated with Midjourney, but this one is a close second so far. So I think sometimes if you just put in simple prompts, things do look nice. Sometimes it works with simple prompts. Other times, putting super detailed prompts can almost create what you want even better and create more realistic or, I guess, professional results. I'm sorry if it all feels like I'm rambling, but the reason I'm making this tutorial is because this is so cool to me. I can make cover art for music videos with this. I have done experiments where you actually choose to use text, and it does do text sometimes if you want. You can see here I have funk country, which is a type of hip hop beats, and it does a pretty good job of it. But if you want to make like a relaxing painted cover art, boom, do it with this. Or maybe a more realistic, chill, moody, rainy scene. You can also do that just by giving it different tags or prompts. One of my favorite things to do is giving it black and white or daguerreotype, which is a type of sort of glass photography from the 1800s, which kind of produced an interesting look, but was also sometimes very clear. I like mixing like World War One style with things. So these pictures are a World War One mortar exploding as French troops charge the trenches, black and white, quality 5. So this is like the highest quality possible. But you can see it looks super cool. Even if the figures aren't totally perfect, the explosion and the smoke, it all looks wonderful. And here's our max version, our max resed up version of these deserts flooding, which to me looks beautiful. And the last thing I want to go over to not rant too long is the quality tag. So what we can do is maybe say like clear glasses with condensation on the lenses, Unreal Engine, Ultra Render. We're going to do that, and then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to say dash dash Q for quality, and for quality we can give it anywhere between 0.25 and 5. 0.25 is going to give us the lowest quality, and 5 is going to give us the highest quality. Now you're going to notice a huge difference because I believe the lower quality is going to process, oh yeah, much faster. It just snapped from 0 to 56%. The high quality is going to go in like 2% increments. So our super low quality, boom, generated instantly. It didn't get condensation super well, but here's our normal one without a quality specification. Here's ours with the lowest quality specification, and our one with a super high quality specification is only 11% done. So do take note that because you have limited GPU hours, not actual images to generate, the higher quality you do, like quality 5 is a max, is going to use a lot more GPU hours and thus charge your account more. Now, I did say I was going to talk a bit about the ethical and sort of copyright implications of this, but at this point it's really unclear because with Midjourney, we know that it was trained on a ton of different images. We don't necessarily know what the source is. I haven't been able to find that information. But with DALL-E, they're a little bit more open about how they trained it, just on like internet images and stuff. But because of this, is what it generates unique? Is it copyrighted? Is it copying? Is it inspired? How do you know what the percentages of the inspiration is versus the copying? Is there a pixel ratio or a color ratio of values that you can look at to know how original it is? These are all really complicated questions that are going to be hard to answer in the near term, but will definitely become more clear as time goes on. Not only can we generate, unique, painterly, realistic, render engine looking kind of stuff, you can even type in stuff like generate textures. If you're a Blender or a CG artist, you can generate textures in this tool. You can generate probably things that we haven't even thought of yet. And that's the cool thing, is that it's basically up to you and what you can think of in your head to visually describe something you see and furnish it into something real like this. Now, copyright wise, you can basically go ahead and use these in your work. Of course, you can check out the documentation to see all of the specific details about how to use it, billing, the privacy, and all of that stuff. But in general, this stuff is really going to change a lot. Whether you're using DALL-E or, in my opinion, the better Midjourney, things are really going to start changing in interesting ways for the future. And I don't know, it's just a wild thing that I'm obsessed with. Like, look at this realistic glass render I made, or this glass of water render. There's so much you can do. You can generate backgrounds, you can generate textures, you can generate cover art, you can generate concept art, ideas, literally about anything you can think of course, within the realm of their terms of service not being gory and things like that. I will say that it does make judging images a lot harder. The more beautiful images you make, the harder it kind of gets to, you know, pick out the best and best ones. But some of my favorites are like this one with the universe inside of a chili pepper. There's some really cool style transfer stuff you can do by saying like, show me a knight in shining armor in like a sepia daguerreotype inside of the redwood forests, and create these really cool, even if it's kind of abstract looking stuff. And you can mix Mario styles with World War One. You can create all kinds of stuff that I don't even need to learn how to draw or paint anymore, which I was thinking about starting to do. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the thumbs up button down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly in the channel. And down in the description, you can follow us on GitHub for coding updates, as well as Instagram for other live updates. If you haven't yet joined our Discord server, make sure you do to get help with scripting, extensions, plugins, submit tutorial ideas, and much more. And if you want to join us on YouTube, you can become a member or supporter to basically help us out financially and get cool perks. And also check out the links down below to AE Scripts, Gumroad, and Adobe Exchange. And for those of you who made it this far, our Quality 5 did finish. Look at that quality. Look how crisp it is. This is super low resolution because we haven't upscaled it yet, but as you can see, the extra time it puts in really adds to the quality. So maybe experiment with lower quality, and when you're ready for your final render, turn it up all the way. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.